Hey all, and welcome back for another paranormal pit stop, which tonight will focus on an infamous vessel whose home port lies in Kimmswick, Missouri, standing as the last authentic overnight steamboat in the US, and is the only in-service waterfaring craft to be inducted into the National Marine Hall of Fame. Are you ready to explore the hauntings of the Delta Queen? Historically, the Queen was constructed between 1924 and 27, and alongside its sister ship, the Delta King, was utilized by the first transportation company in California to travel the Sacramento River between the cities of Sacramento and San Francisco. In 1940, construction of new roadways would link the two communities by way of more efficient land routes, resulting in 1940 in the Queen being sold off to the Isbranson steamship line for use out of New Orleans, Louisiana. Through World War II, the Delta Queen was painted battleship gray and was utilized to transport wounded soldiers from various vessels to medical facilities on land. And in 1946, it would be acquired by Green Line out of Cincinnati, Ohio, who in 1948 would reestablish it for its initially intended use as a passenger service craft. In 1966, the transport gig would hit a snag when the first safety at sea laws were passed, imposing on future use of the Queen. But strong public outcry and protests from company owners would result in a granted exemption that would keep the old lady afloat and serving the populace. In 1970, the Delta Queen was added to the National Register of Historic Places. In 1989, she was declared a National Historic Landmark. And in 2009, the old vessel was moved to Chattanooga, Tennessee, where she would dock and serve as a restaurant until her 2015 purchase by the Delta Steamboat Company, based out of Kimmswick. In 2015, the Queen was towed to the Gulf Island Fabrication Inc. shipyard out of Houma, Louisiana, and was fully refurbished to match her original conditions. Though initial planning would place the Queen's reopening for 2020, as of the release of this upload being the summer of 2021, she's still undergoing extensive renovations in an effort to meet code requirements for safety. Over her lengthy lifespan, a number of reports, stories, and claims associated with the Queen tell of extreme paranormal activity on deck, with those frequenting her bounds describing constant electronic malfunctions, abnormal battery death rates, accounts of personal possessions that go missing and that are later found in strange places, and encounters with a range of apparitions, many clad in old-fashioned clothing or uniforms, and some that have even been known to manifest within the rooms of sleeping guests. The most popular fable surrounding this aged ship tells of Mary Becker Green, or more affectionately, Ma Green, wife to Gordon C. Green, founder of Green Line. As history has it, Mary and Gordon were married in 1890, and in 1896, Mary would receive her licensing to work as a river pilot alongside her beloved husband. In 1927, however, upon Gordon's untimely passing, the full responsibilities of captain were thrust onto the grieving yet infinitely capable widow, who, with the assistance of her sons, would step up as the only female steamboat captain in the whole of the state of Ohio. Mary would run operations until 1949, when at 80 she would take her final journey, one to join Gordon in death. To date, guests, employees, and more recently workmen have encountered Mary's spirit, usually hurrying about, a determined look on her face, while odd occurrences and otherworldly noises have been reported from her old quarters. Shortly after Mary's passing, and strongly against her character, her son, Tom, would order the construction of the Twain Saloon aboard the Queen, in full understanding that his mother, an avid non-drinker, would have rejected the idea outright in life. Just days after its completion, a small tugboat, ironically named the Mary B, would wreck directly into the Queen, right into the portion holding the bar, resulting in severe damages, and it's widely accepted that Ma Green's ghost was at the heart of the disaster. Many who have since attempted to consume alcohol on board have reported their drinks being spilled inexplicably or disappearing entirely. The constant feeling of being closely watched, and extreme cold spots that cause shakes to the point where beverages are sloshed and wasted. One more compelling story tells of Captain Mike Williams, who worked the Queen through the 80s, and who, in 1984, was awakened while on board to the sound of someone whispering sweetly into his ear, complete with the sensation of breath touching his neck. He was startled to alertness to find water flowing into the lower level, a breach that could have easily sinked the ship, but was able to issue repairs to save the prestigious old gal just in the nick of time. Lastly, as a little side bonus, the Queen's old twin, the Delta King, is now docked in Sacramento off Front Street and acts as a floating hotel, where many have encountered the spectral form of the ship's old captain, who's often spied wandering the decks or watching shows from the balcony. Thanks for tuning in for this Paranormal Pit Stop. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Good night.